Sowing can be super confusing, but it doesn't have to be. It can be easy. It's just taking some seeds and sticking them into soil, isn't it? I've looked at all of the things I need, and this is the bare minimum you need to do to have a great year. Start with a good quality compost. What I use is super organic multi-purpose compost. I then mix in something called perlite. So just get the one that you personally can afford. Try to get one with less big bits in it, because pieces of like wood like this is no good for little seedlings because they can't push it up to get through. Avoid things like garden compost. It tends to be really heavy, especially if you're like me, I'm on clay, and it's not sterile, so there's all sorts of critters in there that would love just to crawl out and eat your seedlings. Not to mention things like weed seeds, etc. So you want to have your compost super moist, but you want to be able to wring it together and hold its shape, but you don't want any water running out from between your fingers. You can use pretty much anything to grow seeds in. You have all different types of pots. I get an absolute ton of pots from my grandma. She buys bedding plants every year, and I think, okay, they're only one-time use, but if she's going to get them, I might as well use them. They're free. Don't let not having the perfect container for your seeds stop you from starting seeds. Give yourself some limitations today, saying I can't start, I haven't got any pots. Then there's going to be something tomorrow when you do have the pots that's going to stop you. My favourite way to start seeds that I'm just going to put on anyway is to start them in these very small seed cells. I've used these for absolute season after season, and they're very good because if one or two doesn't germinate, it takes such a small amount of space in the seed tent. It completely blows my mind every single time I start seeds, thinking that this tiny little thing can grow like a ridiculous amount of food, especially when it comes to tomato seeds. If you're a beginner to growing, the first thing you should really be growing is tomatoes. They're super easy to grow, very easy to germinate, and you can't really get them wrong. And they're super rewarding, you get tons. But not only that, but you can use them in so many dishes. We're growing 280 plants and 138 varieties. I'm tomato mad. I really like to start my own seeds because it's like a step to self-sufficiency. It's way more affordable for me. And if you start things from seed and you save your own seed, that's just a whole nother step. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not perfect at doing that, but every year I get a little bit closer. So let me know, do you start everything from seed, and do you save seed from your own garden? If your seeds are a little bit old, best thing you can do is just double sow them. Don't throw away old seeds, always give them a germination test. Put out 10 of them on a piece of kitchen roll and see how many germinate. 7 germinate, 70%, 3, 30%, etc. You'll be surprised how many will germinate. Sowing seeds are meant to be something that you enjoy, so if all else fails, go to the shops, go to the supermarket, or go to a garden centre. They're going to have seed starts. Now, is there any shame in that? No. When I can't sow something, I go to the shops and I go ahead and buy it. There's no shame in that. That's why they're there. Do not worry. Yes, it's nice to be a little bit more self-sufficient, but it's better to go and buy something than to go without. I will be giving you a list of everything I recommend of growing outside and just putting the seeds in the ground, and what I plant indoors to sow for later. Don't start your seeds too early. You really do want to look at the back of the packet and know the information that you have there. As a rule of thumb, you want to start things 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. I also really want to make a herb garden near Jasmine's area. I think it'd look quite cute on the border, and I have an absolute tons of different herbs that I want to grow. I have this idea in my head to make like a medicine garden. You know, I'm already dabbling in herbal medicine, but I'd like to really, get my feet wet. So there's quite a few things that we're growing that's new this season. Normal things like coriander, these are self-sowed seeds. Back to chives. I've tried red veined sorrel, but I'm going to try French parsley. I love parsley sauce. Chives, feverfew. Now this is allegedly, obviously I'm not a doctor, very good for headaches. So I'm really excited about making that into a balm that you can put on your head. Got yarrow, which is meant to be quite good for stopping bleeding. Terrible but blue. I've never grown this before, and I'm very excited about this one. It's called mammoth basil. Advice is to not sow too deep. I've lost so many seedlings sowing too deep, but if you sow too deeply, they're going to be too weak to actually push up through the soil. Best rule of thumb is to go 3 times deep as the seed. So bigger seeds go deeper and lighter seeds go shallower. The herbs are going to bring in so many beneficial insects because they have really lovely, attractive flowers. This is going to be absolute game changer when it comes to pollination. Starting your seedlings indoors by a window can be quite a struggle because the seedlings can get very leggy. Best thing to do is get your grow light. If you don't have them this year, get a piece of tin foil, crinkle it up and put it as a shield to the inside of your house so that the light reflects back onto your seedlings. Leggy seedlings just mean that they're too tall and they're going to flop over, or they're not as strong as they could be. Grow tent. A grow tent has the perfect conditions for your seedlings. It's moist, it's warm, and it's everything that they want. They grow really well in the seed tent, but of course they're expensive. So to recreate these conditions, you can just get a piece of plastic wrap and put it over the top of your seedlings to keep the moisture in. Seeds sprout best when they're damp and warm. One of the most important and, to be honest, overlooked things that we as growers don't grow is flowers. I'm going to be growing a lot of flowers. One of my favourites is sunflowers. I absolutely adore sunflowers, so I grow tons of them. They are honestly one of the reasons I go into the garden and I stay there. I love looking at them. I love the bees just humming around them, and I think it is absolutely like a different sort of experience when you've got tons of flowers in the garden. And the older I get, the more I like them. Flowers have tons and tons of benefits that go on top of just looking pretty. If you have any issues with pollination, then planting flowers will solve this issue. At the allotment we used to have beekeepers, but now they've moved away. I was really nervous about my overall yield or how much I can grow. But by growing more flowers, I'm getting more and more bees into the garden, and you can literally hear the buzzing in the summertime. Lettuce is one of them things that you want to sow every 2 weeks, and then you have an endless supply of lettuce. I do prefer the butterhead, and we do it cut and come again, which basically means we cut the outside leaves off and let the rest to grow on. That means that we have a crop for much longer. We'll be sowing these every 2 weeks. And if you're looking to see how much you should be sowing of each crop, then I have a video for that.